Hey guys, this is Mitch, and we're back with some more of whatever this story is. It's masterminded by Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane, so we haven't gotten much in the way of plot twists so far. But this is Spider-Man number 16, continuing off of X-Force number 3. So part 3 of 5 in this saga. So just before we get started on this, if you enjoy the channel, if you feel like you might want to support me a little bit as an artist, what you can do in the description, there's a couple of links. One will take you to my Patreon, and if you subscribe there, that'll give you access to everything I do, the YouTube videos and the comic stuff, as well as some exclusives. And if you go over to my Instagram, you can DM me there for some commissions. So, what the fuck is going on here? This is Spider-Man number 16. This is a sideways issue, because Rob likes those, and I guess he convinced Todd to go along with him on this. This is also Todd's last issue of Spider-Man that he's ever drawn. So you can see on the cover here, with Spidey swinging off, classic Spidey pose. That's a pretty good one. And bye, Todd. So, even Spidey knows. And this is the team-up with X-Force and Spider-Man that we've all been waiting for. And in terms of a cover, it's a pretty good one. It's a little bit confused with them facing in different directions. Maybe they're fighting different forces. That could be the case. So we're going to get to see Todd McFarlane's take on some Rob Liefeld characters. That'll be fun. But yeah, they have to tell you on the cover here, special sideways issue, so you know what's going on when you pick it up. Because editors hate this shit. This is something Rob likes to do fairly often because I don't know, it switches things up, which is like, you know, Rob's main thing. You could argue theoretically that's how he got popular, just because he was a little different in that he didn't draw properly. So yeah, when you open up a cover and you get a big sideways picture to start things off, editors hate that shit because it confuses the reader. Rightfully so. So, we're starting things off. The events, in quotations, of X-Force 2 and 3 have occurred where they've been fighting with the Juggernaut. Well, a bunch of them were fighting the Juggernaut on the ground floor, and then a bunch of them were on the top floor with Black Tom and Gideon and Sunspot. Gideon and Sunspot were being held captive by Black Tom, being ransomed, I suppose. And things went south. Black Tom decided to blow up the top of the World Trade Center, and that's kind of where we start now. And we're going to start things off with, I mean, for Todd, it's a pretty easy page, I suppose. It's a pretty good pose for Spidey. And it gets a bunch of the webbing in, but it's not like a ridiculous amount. And just, yeah, debris flying around. Kind of took it easy on this page, it feels like. And quick rundown on what happened. Cable, leader of the mutant group X-Force, and Black Tom Cassidy were locked in battle high atop the World Trade Center, neither one willing to give an inch. That was a minute ago. Outside, Peter Parker, otherwise known as Spider-Man, was swinging merrily on his way to the Daily Bugle. That was 30 seconds ago. Black Tom detonated a bomb. That was 2 seconds ago. This is now. That's some Todd writing. It's a little bit better than what he did a year ago. So that's something. He's improved a little bit. It does kind of conflict with what we heard at the end of X-Force issue 3, where Spider-Man heard about a riot and was swinging by to investigate. Here it's more like he just happened to be swinging by and something blew up. I don't think anybody's really going to care too much about continuity here. All right, so we get our splash, double splash, and that's a bit more like it. I don't know if you remember the last double splash we saw, but yeah, it was this horse shit. So we're making some improvements. Now, in terms of the story, I don't know that really much more is going to happen than what happened in the previous one, but that's okay, I think. It's enough of a change to have a different artist and, you know, a different writer, I suppose. And we're going to get to see Todd draw a whole bunch of characters that we don't usually get to see him draw. I've never seen him draw the Juggernaut before. I don't know if he has. I don't think so. It's not a bad rendition. And just look at him fill up this page with debris, right? Well, kind of, actually. Looking a little bit closer, he's pretty good at, like, the illusion of debris. Because these buildings wouldn't have been too tough. This stuff here, he whips off with no real effort, it feels like. I think he's just got like a formula he's figured out for that. This is a bit more of this. You get your overlapping layers that Todd likes. The smoke, it feels like, ties everything together because he doesn't have to show stuff interacting with the Juggernaut. And then this is like where all the detail is, right at the bottom. All the like the cables and whatever really is going on down here. Like, God bless the colorist for trying to figure it out. Todd's just making lines. Oh, and we got a Say Your Prayers. This is pretty extreme. This is probably where Rob got it from. He passed it on to Eric Stevenson. So yeah, Juggernaut and Warpath are going to have a bit of a dick measuring contest. They punched each other a bunch in the last issue. And yeah, why don't we punch each other some more? It's like, man, I don't have time for you. Then Megan. Oh shit, snap. Now we're going to cut to the top of the World Trade Center. Which is, yeah, every time I see it, it's just like, ooh. And let's see, Feral and Shatterstar make their way out to the ground floor. I assume they were just kind of hanging out in the building when the bomb went off. Last we saw, they jumped on the roof to deal with guards. So they've been walking for a while, I guess. And yeah, now they're all just going to talk shit at each other for a couple of pages. And this is a bit more evidence, I think, of Todd's usual way of going about business, which was to just draw a bunch of cool-looking pages and then spread them out on the floor and figure out a story from there. And we're going to see some evidence of that, I think. I think he drew basically just 2 storylines, kind of, and just kind of interspliced them wherever it felt like he could do that. He doesn't have much in the way of transitions, which might be a bit of a blessing in disguise, because if we remember from the Torment story, Todd's transitions, just like, he couldn't get the hang of it, trying to do the Alan Moore thing. So, I mean, maybe this is better. I don't know. So, yeah, we're gonna punch you so hard. Man, I'm gonna help you punch him, Warpath. Thanks for helping me punch him. I like punching. I will punch with my claws. And no, what if he punches you back? And he's like, I will punch you back. This is... Oh. I wish this was more intelligent than that. And now, everybody, prepare to punch! And they all dive in for the punch. And then Spidey's swinging in, just thinking, man, these kids are fucking stupid. Which they are. Get one of those gigantic hands Todd loves drawing. And, like, only he can draw so that it doesn't look like a freaking cartoon. And then out of nowhere, Cannonball zooms in for some reason. I think he zoomed out of the building. That's all right. And I like the Cannonball effect he's got going here. Todd's Cannonball is a goofball, or so it seems anyway. So he's just going to rush right at Juggernaut. Juggernaut's just going to stand there and take it. And we got a nice, pretty nice shot for him just kind of going ka-ping off the chest there. That's pretty great with all the debris flying up. That's almost like manga influenced. Get the smoke curling around the impact line here. That's good stuff. And Cannonball's powers they render him invulnerable when he's in Cannonball form, but smacking off a Juggernaut's chest has disrupted his powers, and he's flying at a building at 137 miles per hour specifically. But luckily Spider-Man is there to save the day, as he do, and he asks, where's Cable? That is a bit of a transition. Did we get one? We did. Okay, well that's a start. So yeah, cutting to the top of the World Trade Center, where Cable and Siren, Domino, Sunspot, and Gideon are making their way through the debris because they were in the middle of an explosion. And Black Tom is nowhere to be found, theoretically, I suppose, because he should have gotten incinerated. Oh, that smoke looks like it's rising above it all. So Cable sends Domino and Siren downstairs to see what happened to Warpath and Juggernaut because they got knocked off the top of the building. And he tells them to take out Juggernaut as fast as possible because he's going after Black Tom. So we're cutting back. There we go. Yeah, okay. It's a little bit of a transition, I suppose. A lot of the time it does seem kind of random. Great shot here. Nice. It feels like a Dutch angle, like breaking up the street. to fight him. Yeah, he does feel like a pretty good threat here. And Spider-Man's just watching him knock the X-Force all over the street here. And decides to step in as the only experienced Juggernaut fighting man. And yeah, everything here looks pretty great. It's a nice change from the last X-Force issue, which was pretty half-assed. Oh, they're fighting on Gretzky Drive. Okay, sure. But yeah, like, look at all the debris flying in here. Put in a stoplight and everything. All the little rock shit. Like, look at all this shit he's drawing underneath them all. Doesn't exactly look like he's connected to them. But, I mean, who's looking that closely other than me? Probably not too many people. And, oh, was there a transition there? Mind your own business. That's right. Follow orders like good little soldiers. Not quite. But Gideon's going to try and stir up some dissent among X-Force, calling them all good little soldiers. And saying he's not worried about the collateral. And he's just fighting his own private war. And, you know, they're just going to yell stuff back and forth at each other. This is drama, right? It's not drama that'll lead to anything, but, you know. And Cable thinks he's made his point here, so he's going to wander away. What was the point? Domino says this isn't the time or place, and Cable goes, yeah, I win. Fuck you. And yeah, just kind of moseys off. And now, again, this is like, we're cutting back. There's no transitions because it's just two storylines going on at the same time, and Todd's going to cut back and forth because he has to. So Spider-Man is going to take on the Juggernaut single-handed here. And at least he's going to do it a little bit smarter by webbing up the opening in his visor. And then leaning over so that X-Force pushes him. That's something. It's a little different. I got to think that if Spider-Man fought Juggernaut before, he's webbed him in the face before, but maybe not. I don't know. I didn't read that issue. And at that point, Boom Boom comes down in a much better looking X-Force ship. This was it in the last issue. That's a bit of an improvement. So Boom Boom's been making some upgrades in the meantime. That's good of her. But her arriving has provided a distraction that Juggernaut is able to exploit and start punching again. And yeah, all this stuff looks kind of fantastic. Really. Again, it's a nice... Maybe I should just do this more often. When I'm going to do a Rob book, do a book or two, and then break it up with somebody who's good, and then go back to Rob and compare. That's not a bad idea. And we're even getting down to, like, you want to draw some screen doors, Rob? This is how you draw some screen doors. With a much tighter screen door. Well done. Oh my god, it's sideways. I don't know how to read this now. And yeah, we're just going to cut back to Cable yelling more... Not even orders, just like, I don't care what you do, but you stay out of my way because I'm tracking down Black Tom. And I'm not going to babysit you, so get out of the way because I'm tracking down Black Tom. And you go pout in the corner and stay out of my way. Black Tom. And his Cable looks, I mean, it looks a little goofy, but like everybody Todd draws looks a little goofy. At least he's got a better hairline. That is one thing that I don't get about Rob's thing. How everybody in the Robiverse has a receding hairline. See, he got some plugs sometime in between these two issues. I don't know, man. Just the crispness here. Like, it's such a departure. I don't know if this was a good idea for Rob. And he's even going to draw the couch cushion leg thingies. Well done, I suppose. And this is a nice little poster kind of thing. It's not really in the middle, though, is it? Where's the middle? That's the middle. I feel like you could have done that a little better. And now we get to the meat of the issue. So, Boom Boom, in apology, I suppose, for getting them all punched, is blowing up Juggernaut's hand. Cool looking shot. We'll see quite a bit more of that in Spawn shortly. While Farrell tears his arm up, doesn't really do much, but Shatterstar gets in front of him. Oh, there's a whole bunch of crossing the axis here. I think we can figure it out. And probably stabs him in the eye. right? Well, it was a lot less probably when Todd drew it. So I'll put up the originals here. I'm pretty sure I could find them online. Todd straight up drew Shatterstar's sword going into Juggernaut's eye. So instead of doing that, the editors did a bit of trimming. It looks like they flipped the eye by the looks of it. Not quite. Looking at it, it actually looks like somebody just completely redrew it over Todd's pencils. And then inserted a panel down here with the blood splatter, which is really just as effective and a lot less gory than the original pencils. And honestly, probably a little bit clearer, because, I mean, in the original, you just see it there, but with all of the axis crossing going on, you might be a little bit unsure about what's even going on. And so, Todd does not like to be censored, and took this as a last straw. And that's it for him on this book. He finished it up, and he's done with Spider-Man. Thinking about it, I think it's at just as much... I mean, part of it is probably that he wasn't able to show blood as he originally wanted. I think it's probably more that his pencils got redrawn against his wishes. And in the next page here, Juggernaut recovers and is going to knock the building down on them. And I mean, I guess I can kind of see Todd's point a little bit in that he's already kind of shown stuff this bad, at least. In the Torment story, like he showed Kraven with half his head blown off. He's got the thing with Hobgoblin and Ghost Rider in the next couple of issues where, I don't know, he's got like the little kid like half demonified. I don't know if that's like the same kind of thing. But, yeah, no, it's still Spider-Man. You're not allowed to actually show like flat out gore. You can only imply it. All right, so the World Trade Center falls down, and we all just kind of go, yee, and try to move on. And Juggernaut thinks it's hilarious for a second. And then, boom, as X-Force and Spider-Man emerge from the rubble. And again, a fairly cool shot with a lot of debris and more crossing layers. Always good. And in the next issue, he's going to show X-Force how to take down Juggernaut. Which it feels like he probably should have done in this issue, but we had to stretch this fucking thing out. So, concludes in X-Force number 4 on sale now, and be back next issue for the death of Spider-Man. Which kind of did happen. I remember that issue. I think that's a Rick Leonardi issue. Or at least on the cover, anyway. And to all you readers of the past few years, thanks, it's been a blast. Todd McFarlane. And he's done. He's out. All right. So, now instead of letters, we get a little word from Todd himself. And he says, well, folks, I know you don't want to hear this, or maybe some of you do, but this is my last issue of Spider-Man for the foreseeable future. I'd like to thank a few people who in my 3 or 4 year stay. So he thanks Rick Parker, who's his letterer, Bob Sharon and Greg Wright for adding their creative touches of coloring and lettering, Dan Cuddy and Glenn Herding for putting up with some of my belly aching and dumb excuses for not getting work done on time, and he'd like to specifically thank Jim Salicrup for having enough confidence in me to allow changes to Spider-Man that helped push me in my career in a positive direction. Now, why is that worth noting? Because we note the editor here, that is not Jim Salicrup, that's Danny Fingeroth. And he was also the editor for the issue. So I took a look through. It looks like Jim Salicrup was the editor for all of Spider-Man, at least up until this issue. Although there might have been a bit of a difference on the Eric Larson issue. That one's Fingeroth. Okay. But, I mean, that wouldn't matter, really. I'm not saying for sure that there is a problem between Danny Fingeroth and McFarlane, but considering this is the one that got edited, and, you know, he didn't shout out Danny Fingeroth, then, I don't know, maybe a little bit. But he claims the reason for leaving the book is because they just had their first kid, him and Wanda. So he's going to take a sabbatical. A very long sabbatical. And he's not at all going to help a bunch of guys start a competing company. He wouldn't do that. And that's it for Spider-Man number 16. And that's it for Todd on Spider-Man. So yeah, that was okay. I mean, it looks great. It's kind of typical Todd Spider-Man stuff, right? Looks fantastic. The writing, I would say the writing in this is better than usual. It helps that it doesn't get dark. That's actually a big thing, thinking about it. Because you think of all of the Todd Spider-Man stories before this, with Torment, and the thing with Ghost Rider and Hobgoblin, and Perceptions, and the Sub-City thing where he's doing the black costume again. And it's all just kind of not Spider-Man-y. And this is like the first time we've seen him do a more Spider-Man-y Spider-Man. Where he's like, he quips a little bit, but not constantly, like he would when Eric Larson's writing him. You know, like he's doing the thing here where just like, you know, you got to stop this or I'm going to have to put you down. You know, that kind of thing. That's fun. And like I said, we got to see him draw a whole bunch of characters that I've never seen him draw before or since. And yeah, not in-depth storytelling, but I mean, good enough for a book where he's just continuing off of 2 issues of an already existing fight that will stretch on to 1 more issue. This was the precursor for the Blood Brothers epic right here. So yeah, next episode we'll finish off this particular sequence with X-Force number 4, which is another sideways issue. I know I'm looking forward to it so much. I had to change the entire fucking layout of my board here just to accommodate this fucking thing. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications so you know when the next one's going to come out. Go over to my Patreon and subscribe there. That'll give you access to everything I do, all of the YouTube videos before they get uploaded, usually a week or so in advance. Again, this week, I don't know. I'm a little bit ahead of the schedule right now, but we'll see by the time I have to get to the 5th video. But there's also a whole bunch of comic stuff there. So many comics. Like 2 of them. Plus the pages I'm putting out now. And some Patreon exclusive content. And then if you go over to my Instagram, follow me there, you can DM me for commissions. Who wants to bet I can draw a better Shatterstar than Rob? I bet I can do it. I'm not going to say I can do a better Juggernaut than Todd. That's just not going to happen. But, yeah, no. Rob I can beat, I think. So yeah, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.